Man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
When he moved from Little Rock, passed from Little Rock and started passing through Pine Bluff, and the Pine Bluff Church started being investigated. Some of the women that he was fooling around with at Little Rock Church, they were Memphis Church to the Pine Bluff Church. So they followed him to the church. And so he had the same women, the same little harem in Pine Bluff that he had in Little Rock.
Lives down the street.
And now he's passing another church in the church of Pine Bluff, and guess what that woman is? At the new church. Yeah.
Man, I'm in the wrong game, bro. I'm in the wrong game.
The views and opinions expressed today
Wow, this is
are
crazy.
not the views and opinions of the station, its
This is
management,
crazy.
its advertisers. Now, let's get
All right, man,
to
take it
focus
easy.
on our issues, our solutions.
All right,
our
have a good
voices
one.
on
Keep your head down.
Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
Hey, what's happening? How you doing? Welcome to the Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. We are expecting Robert Webb to come in today as well. We'll talk to him, get what's up to date and in the know. Robert always has an interesting take on a lot of different things, so we'll definitely get him. Look forward to his take today. A lot of stuff to talk about. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I would really like to stop covering police misconduct, but it's so everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's everywhere, and you just gotta cover it. Okay, you just have to, and it speaks to what sense are we making of this thing where they've gotten some immunity as far as what goes on and how they can get away with crime. Free stuff at various stores, and I don't know. But we're going to talk a little bit about all of that stuff today. Welcome to Black Focus Radio. The number, if you want to call me, is 855-525-5683. That's my number. I've got our interns today are gone. They are at some big wig luncheon out in Maumelle. So congratulations to them. So we won't see them again until Monday. So hello, Jackie, how you doing? We won't see them again until Monday, but both have been doing a pretty good job. So that's it's pretty cool to have them in, and whatever they're eating, I hope they're feeding them good, okay? I hope they're not feeding them like fried chicken and mashed potatoes, although, that ain't too bad. But whatever they're doing, and certainly we're going to interview both of them one day next week, okay? So we'll let you know about that, and just to get an update, and I'm doing this purposely, because I want them to get an idea and understand how to speak. Okay? So there are a lot of lessons that I'm trying to teach them by letting them do interns. But more importantly, I want them to be able to speak about themselves. Okay? I want them to be able to, if someone comes up to them and asks, hey, what's your name? What would you like to do? I want them to be able to talk about themselves. So that's important to me. Okay? So we're going to interview them and do some other things with them next week. All right? I'm sitting here right now trying to decide what black facts I want to do. So I'm vamping right now until I make a decision. I got a couple of them, and I think I do want to go back. So I've got this one about this Senegalese princess sold into slavery in the early 1700s and became a wealthy plantation owner, and she used her plantation to free black slaves. I'm leaning on that one. I'm looking at another one. Why do Holocaust survivors get reparations but black Americans don't? I think we're going to use that one as a story today. Okay. Denmark Vesey. That's an interesting one. You all know who Denmark Vesey is. Well, Denmark Vesey, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that one because I think it's, I think it'll fit. Okay. So before we can do black facts, I got to do this.
Dynamic black facts. Our culture, our history, our people.
All right. Hopefully by now, many of you all have learned a lot about your black history and your black culture that you did not know prior to listening to this show. And I'm very proud of that. And many people have come up to me and said, hey, man, really thank you for putting out some of those black history facts. That was something I didn't know. And I gotta admit, I get the biggest thrill when people come up to me and say, you know what, I was listening to your show the other day and you said so-and-so, so-and-so. I didn't know that. I get a thrill out of that, people responding to the black facts, more so than I get a thrill out of people coming up and saying, hey, man, I enjoy your show. Now, don't get me wrong. I get a thrill out of all of it, but the black facts are what's really important to me because I want to make sure that I'm getting you information that you can carry on to your friends, your relatives, even your coworkers. Okay? So today's black fact is going to be about Denmark Vesey. I actually wrote a report on him back in the day as well. July 2nd, 1822. Denmark Vesey and his co-conspirators were hanged at Blake's Landing, Charleston, South Carolina. Denmark Vesey, originally Telemaque, was an African Caribbean who was most famous for planning a slave rebellion in the United States in 1822. He was enslaved in the Caribbean before being brought to the United States and was probably of Coromantee background. After purchasing his own freedom, he planned what would have been one of the largest slave rebellions in the United States. Words of the plans was leaked, and at Charleston, South Carolina, authorities arrested and the plot's leaders before the uprising could begin. Vesey and others were convicted and executed. Although it was almost certainly not his home, the Denmark Vesey House at Charleston was named a National Historic Landmark in 1876. In 1976. Many anti-slavery activists came to regard Vesey as a hero. And I believe it's pronounced Vesey, okay? During the American Civil War, abolitionist Frederick Douglass used Vesey's name as a battle cry to rally African-American regiments, especially the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry. Inspired by the revolutionary spirit and actions of slaves during the 1791 Haitian Revolution, furious at the closing of the African church, Vesey began to plan a slave rebellion. His insurrection, which was to take place on Bastille Day, July 14th, 1822, became known to thousands of blacks throughout Charleston and along the Carolina coast. The plot called for Vesey and his group of slaves to free blacks, to execute their enslavers, and temporarily liberate the city of Charleston. Vesey and his followers planned to sail to Haiti to escape retaliation. Two slaves opposed to Vesey's scheme leaked the plot. Two slaves opposed to Vesey's scheme leaked the plot. Two slaves opposed to Vesey's scheme leaked the plot. I need to say that one more time. Two slaves who were enslaved, who were being beaten, whose children who were being stolen from them, opposed Vesey freedom. They opposed Vesey's freedom and leaked the plot. Charleston authorities charged 131 men with conspiracy. In total, 67 men were convicted and 35 hanged, including Denmark Vesey. Sandy Vesey, one of Denmark's sons, was transported, probably, to Cuba. Vesey's last wife, Susan, later immigrated to Liberia. Another son, Robert Vesey, survived to rebuild Charleston's African American Episcopal Church in 1865. Recent scholarship in 2001 by historian Michael Johnson gave a new twist to historians Richard Wade's 1964 theory that the Vesey conspiracy was nothing more than angry talk. According to Johnson, Mayor James Hamilton Jr. concocted a false conspiracy to use as a political wedge issue against Governor Thomas Bennett Jr., who owned 4 of the accused slaves. Somewhat in the reaction to the Missouri Compromise, which restricted slaves in the Western territories. Mayor Hamilton came to support a militant approach to protecting slavery. He called for draconian measures, while the governor clung to a paternalistic view. Including 1822, white Carolinians uniformly believed in the existence of a conspiracy. Governor Bennett, while believing that the plot was not as widespread as Hamilton thought, nonetheless called Vesey's plan a ferocious, diabolical design. Johnson also asserted that aside from questionable court records, no other material evidence existed of Vesey's plan to lead the revolt. Specialists, however, observed that a number of blacks familiar with Vesey and of Reverend Morris Brown, y'all know that name, right? Especially free black carpenter Thomas Brown spoke and wrote about the plot years later. In 2004, historian Robert Tinkler, a biographer for Mayor Hamilton, reported that he uncovered no documentation to support Johnson's theory. James Hamilton, he concluded, believed there was indeed a Vesey plot. In April 2011, in an April 2011 issue of William and Mary Quarterly, historian James O'Neill Spady showed that under Johnson's own criteria, the statements of some of the earliest witnesses, George Wilson and George LaRoche, ought to be considered credible. Neither man was coerced or imprisoned. Both volunteered their testimony, and LaRoche even risked statements that the court could have construed as self-incriminating. Spady concluded that a real, perhaps smaller conspiracy had been about to launch when the plans were revealed. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our Black Facts for today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment.
Home welcomes all of Arkadelphia and Arkansas. In Clark County since 1966. At Mitchell Funeral Home, they understand that the funeral is a celebration of life and legacy. So the entire staff takes great pride in the caring, personal, and professional services they provide. Cremations, funeral planning, burial policy, life insurance, notary, and monument sales are just a few of the services they offer. Flexible packages are available as well. Mitchell Funeral Home appreciates the trust and confidence placed in them and will continue to enhance their services. So, as to serve you better, call now. Get connected. 870-246-2611. That's 870-246-2611. Call, click, or come by. MitchellFuneralServices.com. Don't wait till we're needed. Call us now. Let's walk through this together. 870-246-2611. It's quality you can appreciate and service you can depend on at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matter. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues or law. You need an attorney whose primary objective is to provide you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
I'm so glad I found a Kick Above. It's like my very own personal training studio. A Kick Above removed the guesswork and intimidation and offered me a very supportive and structured environment specific to my personal goals. Kim Leverett and her certified personal trainers even offered nutritional guidance.
So what you know good, man?
Personal workout.
You got the best time, man. I'm just a man that know the man, brother. I'm just a man that knows David Coleman. Oh, look, marvelous.
All right, welcome back to the show. We want to welcome into the show Robert Webb.
What's up, my brother?
How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm up in here, baby.
Is the heat wave gone yet?
No, it's still there.
Hey,
You
gonna
gotta
go?
love it, though.
No, you don't. I'm sorry. I'm a black man that likes the wintertime. Sorry about it. No, I'm not sorry about it. I like the snow. I like all the things you can do in the snow. I like it when I get a sifter of brandy and drink it while it's in the snow, and it gives me that warm feeling deep down in my gut. But I digress. Anyway, I was talking about Denmark Vesey. I wanted to read one other thing. 2 slaves opposed a Vesey scheme, leaked the plot. Let me say that again. 2 slaves opposed to Vesey's scheme, leaked the plot.
To what?
2 slaves opposed to Vesey's scheme, leaked the plot. Man. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because, number one, a lot of people don't realize that Mother Emanuel, the church that was terroristically attacked in South Carolina, was started by Denmark Vesey. Okay? A lot of people don't know that. The other thing that jumps out in this piece that I'm reading is the fact that, you see, we've always had those stupid Negroes. What is that?
That's me.
Oh, okay. We've always had those stupid Negroes. You know, like Harriet Tubman said, you know, they told her, well, you know, you freed thousands of slaves. She said, I could have freed 1,000 more if they'd have only known they were slaves. And quite often, this particular slave revolt, which would have been the largest, it would have,
Excuse me.
it didn't even get off the ground because they were snitched on. But the Nat Turner slave revolt and many others did get off the ground as well. So I just find this interesting that, by the way, a lot of people who are, and by the way, I shouldn't just say Mother Emanuel, but Denmark Vesey was part of the evolution of the AME church itself, you see. So not just Mother Emanuel in South Carolina, but the AME church, along with, by the way, Morris Brown. The name Morris Brown, does it jump out to you?
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it? Why would it not?
Why does it jump out to you?
Only one reason: Morris Brown College.
Exactly, in Atlanta. A lot of people don't know that. Y'all,
Don't know what.
they don't realize who Morris Brown. Well, I know obviously the people at Morris Brown know, but it's I would hope they did know.
It would be good if they did. Right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there were a lot of interesting historical tidbits that came out of this piece about Denmark Vesey and that slave revolt. So
I had to get here early so I could. I meant to get a piece of Rizal, but I didn't.
you didn't get here early enough. Okay, you can reserve that for later.
For next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back too.
I want to read the T's real fast because I want to talk about a story, and since your son is here today, I'm gonna start sending out pictures of naked alligators to your Facebook page. I'm gonna let you know that.
So you're gonna send him a couple pictures.
I'm gonna send them a couple pictures of naked alligators.
That would be cool.
But let me just quickly read this tease, man, because it's kind of, dude. I saw a story last night, and I'm like, let me just read the tease.
Let me hear this.
Have you heard the latest about the assailant in Memphis? Today I present prima facie evidence why the phrase "in fear for my life" is used by police is simply a lie. That fear is of black people. And by the way, guess who was in the drug business? The MSC Gayane didn't dock in the hood. These are going to be some interesting stories today.
The MC Gayane, you know what that is, right?
Yeah, that's a.
No, that's that boat that's that ship that came over that was owned by Mitch McConnell's wife.
No, that's another one.
That's not it? I thought that was it.
No, the MC Gayane is.
Oh, the MC Gayane slave ship.
No.
MC
It is,
Gayane.
it's actually owned by J.P. Morgan Chase. I'll tell you.
Damn. I thought that was. I'm thinking.
You're talking about the ship that Mitch McConnell's wife's family owned, where they
had the
they
ungodly
found.
amount of cocaine and
Right.
heroin.
We'll talk about. We'll segue into our story based on that story, but just let's stick with this one for a moment.
All right, go ahead.
So WRGE is a radio station, a television station. It's channel 3 in Memphis. Okay. And Luke Jones, who is a reporter for WRGE, posted some pictures of a suspect after a crime had been committed. Now, here's what Luke Jones wrote. This is the man, deputies say, led them on a chase from Lakeland to Bartland yesterday evening in a stolen car. He allegedly pulled a gun, forcing deputies to fire at him, then tried to run over 2 deputies. They say he ended up hitting 3 patrol cars and 3 civilian vehicles, including one carrying a pregnant woman, before crashing into a pole in Bartlett. And Bartlett, Tennessee is basically a suburb of Memphis, those of you who don't know, okay? It used to be a one-horse town, and now that's where all the white people moved to get away from black folks. And then all the black folks have moved out to Bartlett now, so anyway, that's a long story. But the point of me bringing this, because this guy and this particular guy, and I don't know why he didn't post his name, but you can probably surmise by the fact that he's still alive what color he is.
Okay.
Right? What color do you think he is?
You're making the assumption that he's white.
It's not an assumption.
You're making the assumption. We don't know for a fact.
I'm looking at a picture. He's
He's
white.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So you saying you can just tell?
Let me give you another evidence why we know he's white.
Okay.
Even if I didn't see the
Yeah,
picture.
that's right. He pulled a gun.
He pulled a gun
He didn't shoot and kill him.
and he's not dead.
Okay. All right, I'll give you that one. Okay.
Right?
That's fair. Yeah.
So I found the post interesting because apparently a whole lot of other people caught that little irony too.
Then he pulled a gun and nobody shot him.
Not only did he pull a gun, see, typically police are supposed to stop a suspect if in fact they fear that he will commit crimes that will hurt other people, right?
But maybe they didn't feel that way, Dave. In that moment, maybe they didn't feel that way.
Wait a minute. Do you have wax in your ears?
No.
Did you not hear what I just read?
Okay. But so let's say that he had all the good officers that worked on the Memphis force. Come on, man. Don't do that to me. Why y'all laughing at me? You my son, bro. That's what you do, bro? Okay, cool.
Let me turn on your mic so they can hear you.
Oh, man, stop. Man. You gotta stop. Hey, man, I think that's a little
Wait.
Man, both of y'all sick, man. Both of y'all
Gotta get a 20. Gotta get a 20.
Both of y'all sick.
Woo, did you just say all the good?
Maybe he got all the good officers that were in Memphis. In Memphis,
What is that, like one?
had to be more than one because he ain't dead.
Well, I lived in Memphis for 15 years.
You can't say all the cops are bad. You gotta have at least one or two good ones. You can't say they all bad. That's like saying all white people are bad. You can't say all white people are bad. You can say some white people are bad, just like you can't say all black people are bad.
What percentage would you say?
I don't know. I don't know that many. I don't know enough white people to give you the percentage. I can't give you that kind of percentage. I don't know all the white people. I mean,
Okay.
I got my clique of white people, but that's it.
We'll give you 2 white cops.
So if you ask, I bet if you ask a white guy the same thing and said, so what percentage of black people are good? He'd be like, I don't know. But the clique I got, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you know the bad white folks and the good white folks. It's not like they wear signs or something. Is that how you know, by the way? I didn't know if you knew it or not, but I'm one of the bad white people.
Yeah, they wear suits and masquerade as politicians. Republicans are that. But anyway, back to our story.
And Democrats.
Back to our story.
Don't forget about Democrats.
Back to our story.
Don't forget to add your Dems in there.
I think you're gonna say that. I said that on the T-boy.
It kills me how you try to just make it be one side.
It's
both sides.
We're gonna talk about that here.
Okay, all right, guys.
Because somebody
Let's
asked
finish
me a
talking about
question
your
about that.
police.
So
Let's finish talking about the good police
yeah,
in Memphis who did not kill this man.
yeah, but I found it interesting because apparently a lot of other people wanted to ask Luke, the reporter, a question, and the reason I started following this is because I wanted to see if he was going to answer.
They didn't ask him if he was black, did they? Did they ask you that really?
See, the funny thing,
Will you stop, man? Come on.
I'm sorry, but Luke is black.
Oh.
And I can just see poor Luke. wait a minute. Let me, before I say that. Keisha Queen asked Luke, have you got the answer to why he is still alive? Asking for you and the urban community.
I wish you could have seen that live. It looked better way. You know why he's still alive? Like, bro.
But that's why it's so hilarious. Because you get my point.
I got you, though. I got
Because
you.
poor Luke doing his job as a black reporter.
That's like a skit on Saturday Night Live, man. Come on.
Exactly.
Hey, Dave, you know why he's still alive, Dave?
Oh, God.
Any idea?
Oh, man. So I started going, and I just saw this morning. So I started going, going through the post. So the GIF where the 2 eyes. So someone posted just the 2 eyes. It said Luke Jones, WRAG, and they posted the 2 eyes. Say something.
Say something. Like, what the?
Crystal Brown says, I'm waiting on an answer. Bob Be Cooley says, Crystal Brown, he too scared he'll lose his job if he speak the truth. I'm just saying, we understand, bro.
Don't say nothing.
Oh, then someone says, Luke, would you not know the answer to this? However, it's obvious. Corey Miller says, them boys had terrible shooting skills.
Gee whiz. I get it now. I get it now.
I mean,
I get it now. I get
and then, let's see, where is that? There was a white lady. It's just I'm white, and I'll be the first one to say it because he's white. That's from Jake Driver.
That's the Saturday Night Live skit, man. I'm serious.
Oh, man.
That's the Saturday Night Live skit.
Oh, man. I mean,
all day, every day. Saturday Night Live skit.
So the point I'm making here, and although we're laughing and having fun with this, and it is truly hilarious. And then, of course, you get the typical white guy who jumps in and says, well, there was no color involved. And I couldn't help but to post BS. But I actually wrote the words out. You kind of figure out what that was.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I wrote. But it just goes, this post just goes on and on and on. But this this speaks to, because see, the reason I'm saying this is because I know I hadn't been in Memphis in 15, almost 20 years, lived there,
Okay.
but I know how those cops were. I know how it was down on 201 Poplar. By the way, that's where the police department is, the main office, okay? I know the stories about MPD. And the fact that they didn't shoot and kill this guy, if this is not white privilege, you mean to tell me...
That's a new Memphis PD. Dude.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. So you mean to tell me that the guy he's in a stolen car, number one.
Huh?
He's in a stolen car.
No.
Yeah, in a stolen car. Drive.
If he'd been in Little Rock, he'd been dead. Stop, man. Stop. I can't do this with you, man. Let's go to the next thing. You're not gonna stop, man. You're not gonna stop.
I'm trying to make a point, but I didn't know it's gonna be this funny.
This is as bad as
Okay.
the woman who jumped in the Arkansas River in the middle of Arkansas River and swam the show.
Yes, that could
swam
happen.
the show.
That could happen.
Stop. I mean, he pulled. I mean, honestly, I am really. Will you stop, man? I am really.
I'm sorry.
I am really surprised that he pulled the gun and was not shot. I mean, I am. For me, that is.
But wait a minute, Rob.
Surprising.
He tried to run over two deputies.
Really? And they didn't shoot him in the car?
No.
They follow protocol. Then you're not supposed to shoot in a moving car. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
You're not
but
supposed to shoot in a
then
moving car.
a chase ensued, and he plowed into 3 civilian cars.
And so you mean
So-
to tell me after so they didn't shoot him in the beginning,
Right.
and then they allowed him to do further destruction.
Not only that, and risk other innocent civilians.
Yeah.
The job of a police officer is to protect innocent civilians.
Well, maybe they were in a black neighborhood, and he didn't feel the need.
Bartlett isn't a black man.
No, that's where they ended up.
No, they ended up in Bartlett.
Yeah, they ended up in Bartlett.
Yeah, but-
Where'd they start at?
Somewhere in Lakeland, which is a white area as well.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe that's because maybe that's why they didn't do it. They were in Lakeland. I mean, yeah. I mean, part of the town you're in. So
So one of those cars had a pregnant woman in there.
yeah, but a great example of that is
Yeah.
what happened in Little Rock. You remember the lady? Remember the two ladies who what was it 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now? The two ladies who were ran over by the guy who stole the car in West Little Rock.
Yep.
Everybody did the speed limit all the way through till they got to University in 12th Street. And then when they got to University in 12th Street, they turned the lights on and they started a high speed
Yeah,
chase.
that happened out on Chico Road.
But the whole time, they just cruised through West Little Rock. They
Yeah.
cruised all the way through West Little Rock.
Yeah, waving at, hey y'all, we just ran through, hey.
Till they got to the hood, and then they went 8.
Hey,
They went 8.
manure.
Yeah, same thing. But that's my point, though. I mean, maybe. I mean, honestly, I think this is the thing. This is what I really believe. I believe that if you get the right cops in any situation, you can have a positive outcome, right? If you get the right cops. I also believe you get bad cops.
How many of them?
You just need some good ones. And it seems like on this one, they got all the good ones.
They just happen to be on shift at the same time.
They just happen to be, yeah.
Yeah, the good ones
It probably never happened
they get the
again.
best shifts, the good ones.
Yeah, it probably never happen again.
Yeah, man, what's going on here? This ain't supposed to be happening on our shift. We the good cops.
So you know the 7 to 3 shift is the shift that you put your guys on who you feel that won't blow anybody's brains out and screw up, right?
You're right.
And 3 to 11, it goes from 3 to 11, 11 to 7, however they do it. It just goes from bad to worse. You know? So the worse the guy is, especially in Little Rock, the worse the guy is, the later he works. So
Yeah.
if the guy's working 11 to 7, he's pretty crappy, and hopefully he won't come in contact with many people, and they put him in West Little Rock. Because if you're in West Little Rock, then you're less likely to run. Hopefully, you're less likely to engage with black folk and to have create issues.
Well, I mean, but the point of me bringing this up, let's see, is the fact that this argument about you in fear of your life
Right.
is a bunch of crap.
Why, David, why can't they be fearful? Why can't they not be
Okay,
fearful?
okay, I got a question.
I'm ready.
I got a question. So if someone busting a cap at you, plowing through civilian cars, trying to run over you, and then running over 2 police cars, if you ain't in fear of your life for that situation, what the hell are you going to be in fear of your life of?
Well, I shouldn't be fearful of him because, like, again, I I'm less likely to kill someone who looks like me.
No.
And therefore, I'm also more likely to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, so that means that because you knew he was a white boy, you weren't afraid. But had he been black, you wouldn't fear your life? Is that what I'm understanding?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because you're more than likely. I don't know how much involvement you've had with him. He's had with him, so yeah, he could be fearful of what the outcome could possibly be.
Well,
I say yes. I say yes, Dave.
Daniel Sherlock says, I'm not going to argue about skin color, man. That's the reason the world is what it is today.
Okay.
Of course, Daniel Sherlock is a white boy. He don't want to talk about race.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He know damn well, had that man been black, that man would be dead today. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's a good point.
And this is where you talk about privilege and where you talk about biasness with the police department. Because I don't care what anyone says. Okay, maybe you cool that he busting a cap at you. But when he begins to put the public in danger, your job is to stop him.
To stop him
By any means necessary.
I totally agree.
Okay?
I totally agree.
And they allowed him to plow. And not only that, he tried to run over two of them. You're not in fear of your life yet?
I totally agree.
Then he plows into three civilians. You're not in fear for their lives? Well, what the hell are you doing? What's your job, dog? Why you there? To go get free donuts and cookies from Chick-fil-A?
No, Dave. We're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Okay, I guess I needed to raise my voice to get us back where we needed to be here, right?
Okay, Dave. Calm down, brother. Calm down.
Woo-saw. Woo-saw. I'm just saying.
Okay.
These people are crazy, man. I'm going to tell you. Speaking of police, I heard that we're going to get an advisory citizens review
I
board.
don't want to talk about that. I don't even want to have that conversation. It's not going to end well. It's not going to end well at all.
We're going to get an
It's not going to end well.
advisory citizens review board.
Ain't no such thing. There's no such animal. You're going to create your own thing.
We're going to get an advisory.
Do you really want to talk about this?
No, I'm
If we
sending.
talk about this, it's going to get ugly.
I'm sending a message.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
We're gonna get an advisory citizen review board.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That's like seeing an alligator with no teeth.
That's like making somebody an honorary referee.
There you go.
You honorary, dog. Come to the
Hey,
game. Come to the game. Y'all made it
yeah, you go up in the booth, drink some champagne.
Yeah, do whatever you want to do because you ain't get on the court. Yeah, so again, I think,
I'm just saying.
yeah, I mean, everybody's commending Mayor Scott for this. Everybody's commending him for it.
No.
I guess they should. I guess they should commend him.
Well,
he said,
I thought you said you didn't want to talk about it.
well, we already started, Dave. You
Oh,
already did.
okay. See, blame the black man. See, there you go. Blame the black man.
So, for me, advisory. So they have no teeth. They can't subpoena anybody.
Nope.
They can do nothing.
Nope.
It's just whatever information they're given. They can't. They can only make a suggestion to the mayor. Mayor, we think you should go down the street and get your car washed at Jiffy Lube. I mean, who cares? They're no different than any other city committee. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Getting the same peak you get an A&P commission. You familiar with the A&P commission, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, A&P commission. They
Well, explain that to the listeners.
They control the money. They control the money. All that money they make. I can't remember now where they get the money from, but it's with the A&P commission, they got all this money they get from restaurants. They get part of the restaurant tax, and they control all that money. They do what they want to with it. They don't answer to nobody. They don't answer to the city. They ain't even come down to the city and tell them what they're doing. A&P commission do their own thing. They do their own thing, right? So make this citizen review board the same way.
Well,
But if you're not gonna give them any teeth, man, they ain't no need even doing it.
well, you just took the words out of my mouth. If you're not,
But again, this is
if they have
another
no
way.
subpoena
This
power,
is another way you get people put that lotion. This is what they do. They put Vaseline on the hole. They can just put some Vaseline on hold right now. They just Vaseline it up.
Ew!
Yeah.
Ew!
Now, Dad, slowly bend over.
Ew! No!
Don't bend over fast. Just slowly.
Stop it! Stop it!
Here comes the Vaseline.
No!
Because then when you get mad when somebody gets shot, you say, hey, hold on. Gave you what you asked for.
No, you
asked
didn't.
for a citizen review committee.
No, we
You
didn't.
got a citizen review committee. You didn't say what kind of
Yes, we
citizen review
did.
committee you want.
Yes, we did.
No.
Yes, we did.
I'm just getting you.
Yes, we did.
He getting you what he
From the day that I've been talking about a Citizens Review Board on this show, I've been saying if it doesn't have any subpoena power, then you might as well not have it. And, by the way, I referenced the Citizens Review Board.
Can you say your man gonna be on here next week?
I believe he is.
Oh, well, that should be interesting.
And I referenced the Citizens Review Board in Nashville, Tennessee, that has subpoena power. So I know I want subpoena power. I don't know what y'all Negroes want here. But if you don't have subpoena power for the Citizens Review Board, hey, that might as well be Picasso painting stuff down on Main Street at 6 o'clock every evening. It ain't. I'm just saying.
That's tough, man.
I'm just saying. Okay? I mean, don't blow smoke up my butt and tell me it's a campfire, and then bring me hot dogs and say, hey, let's have a weenie roast.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, man.
Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing.
Be happy.
So,
Be happy, black boy. You're getting what you're supposed to get. You're getting
okay.
that something, black boy.
y'all keep thinking that.
Go sit down somewhere and shut up.
Well, we're supposed to have the mayor on the show on Monday, the 15th. So we'll see if he comes on. I'm just saying. Okay. Because we're going to ask the questions. He may not answer them, but we're going to ask. Oh, by the way, the ship, but my point being in bringing that up is the fact that I'm fascinated as these cases continue to happen across the country, not just in isolated incidents, but across the country, that anyone could fix their mouth to believe that racism and white supremacy is not alive and well in this country. Because we see this over and over and over again, where
When you say see this, you mean what exactly?
see black suspects or black people, not even suspects. I mean, I'm thinking about the little 14-year-old girl right here in North Little Rock, who just riding her bike and was that was assault.
Goes back to what we talked about Monday. It's all about value.
Yeah, that was assault on that young
It's all
girl.
about value.
And the fact that we keep seeing instances like this. We saw an instance last week where the white guy calls the police on the black guy, and his child is, even his 6-year-old kid is begging him not to do it because his 6-year-old kid knows he's doing wrong.
Right. No, it's not good. Yeah.
You know, we're seeing this over and over again, and I'm beginning to wonder, are black people paying attention, or is it just me? Am I just that person running around with my hair on fire?
Black people are praying right now, so they let
Okay. Is that what they're doing?
Leave them to pray.
Well, you know what they said what happened.
Giselle is praying with them right now. Leave them to pray.
Okay, why are you picking on Rizal, man? You got.
I ain't get to get him early.
Okay,
I ain't get to get him. So
But
I know you're listening, brother.
But I'm just saying. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, look. How much more evidence do we need to see that these white people, unfortunately, are unbending as it relates to their racism? It just boggles my mind. I saw a picture the other day that was posted on Facebook. It was a July 4th picture. It was a picture of a white guy and a black woman. They were apparently in a relationship. No problem with that. That's great. They were both dressed in 4th of July garb, looked like American flag. Oh, that's cute. Oh, they look alike. Oh, that's cute. The only thing is that the white guy had his right arm around her and his left arm down to his waist, and he was doing this.
And what's that?
That's the white power sign.
Okay, sign is the white power sign?
Yes, but it's been
So whenever
co-opted.
I say, okay, I'm doing white power.
Yes. Well,
Really?
you may not. but you
So
big,
that's-
you big enough to say.
that's white power.
But what I'm saying is they've
White
co-opted
power.
this sound.
White power.
This is the W, and this part is the P.
Okay. So.
Okay. So the point being is,
Really?
she didn't get it. So there she is, basically dating a white supremacist, and he's proud of it, and he's laughing. He's basically laughing at her, and she doesn't even know it.
And she's black.
And she's black. She doesn't even know it.
He let her know white power. But hey,
I'm just saying.
it is what it
Oh,
is.
I mean, what's wrong with us? Why? I don't understand why we're not getting this.
I don't really think we want to get it, my friend.
But to what end? I mean, I'm tired of this, man. I mean, these black preachers, these so-called black wannabe leaders. I mean, what are y'all doing? You all don't have anything that you can bring to the black community that says, hey, we did this for the black community. Not a damn thing. You got people running around touting the virtues of Obama. Oh, Obama, Obama, Obama. All he did was made you feel good. I mean, I could have went to a strip club and got that.
Yeah, but I mean, it was.
And it would have lasted 8
It
years.
was also a symbolism of Obama to have a black
Symbolism.
president. Yeah, it was a symbolism of Obama, which was very
Symbolism.
important. Yeah, it was very important. It was very important to a lot of people.
Symbolism.
Very important to a lot of people.
Okay, it was. So would you argue that that person in the project, it was probably pretty important to some people in the project? Did you,
Possibly,
possibly, yeah.
Possibly, I think so.
Are they still in the projects?
They probably are.
Probably are.
Yeah.
Right.
But again,
What about that low income
Dave,
family?
It's not that. It was
You know,
Dave,
oh, we got a black president.
Dave,
Whoa!
Dave, it's about the symbolism.
Symbolism.
It's about the symbolism. So for 300 plus years,
Mm-hmm.
you've had white presidents, and so to have a black president to a lot of people, that really meant something. That really meant something because what it sends. They stop.
I got a question.
No, not going. No,
I got a question.
no. I know what you about to ask. No, no,
Oh,
no. I shoot
tell my mama you had to let me ask no
No, 'cause I
question.
know what you about to do. No, don't do that. But yeah, it was symbolism, and I understand it. But what it meant for a lot of black folks is that if you went out and worked hard, you went to college, you did everything right, then yeah, one day you could become president. And so that was the message it sent to black people, which they stop.
Yeah, question.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
When was the last time we had an Asian president?
I don't know that.
When the last time we had a Hispanic president?
I don't know that.
When the last time we had an Arab president?
I don't know that.
Would you argue that those ethnic groups are doing pretty damn good in America?
Yeah, but I mean, so for us having a black president, even though he was not descendant, even though his descendants were not from slaves, but still having a black president.
Maybe that's why he ignored us because he didn't have slave descendants.
Because of the 300 years of slavery, because of all that.
But maybe that's why he didn't offer an official apology to black
Are you gonna
people
listen,
because
Dave?
he didn't have any descendants. He wasn't a descendant of
You stop,
slaves.
Dave.
Maybe that's why.
And the reason it was so important to a lot of black people is because here you are, you have a man who, it's like you come full circle. You come from being the lowest of the low in America
No, he didn't.
to the highest of the high.
Well, he didn't.
They stop. Dude, you are evil, man.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're evil.
I'm just saying.
You're evil.
I tell you. I know. Why am I being evil? See, you sound like a Republican.
being really
You call me evil because I'm speaking fact here. I don't give a damn about symbolism. Okay? You know what? You know what? That banner over there is symbolic. It makes me feel good every time I say. But you know what? It don't put a damn penny in my pocket.
I dig that.
Okay? It didn't give me one reparation. It didn't even give me the R in reparation.
You were talking about the Confederate flag and how the Confederate flag should come down.
No, I don't care about it.
Okay, so
you misunderstood me.
Okay.
It's a damn symbol. I don't care
As long as
about
we're on
it.
the same page.
You know,
All right.
the only thing I look at is, hey, I'm glad you're wearing it so I know who you are.
Okay.
Okay?
So when your man get here, I know what you're taking it easy on him. 'Cause I know you're gonna do that. You're gonna take it easy on him because he grew up and you know his whole family.
at me.
You know how you get like
Look
that.
at me.
You know how you get like that when you know.
Look at me.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You're going to be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be here.
So,
I'm gonna be here with you.
okay.
I'm gonna be taking it easy on him. Yeah.
So you want me to? So you?
This your boy, Dave.
How's he my boy?
You been taking up for him. This your boy.
How have I been taking up for him?
Because you have.
I have not.
Frank Scott. Oh my God, man, Frank Scott. Ah. Man, Frank Scott, I love him. I went and ate some chicken when he went to Popeyes. I said the same thing when Matt Scott said that I ate my chicken. It tasted really good that day. I don't know why it tastes so good after Frank Scott said that. Woo! That was the best Popeyes chicken ever. Let's stop. I love my chicken.
I'm sorry for, I don't know what Robert, well, I would say he's been drinking, but he's been with his son. How old are you, by the way? 15. Oh, okay. Well, I would hope that he ain't been drinking with you. But anyway. All righty then. But anyway, I'm just saying, man. I will do my due diligence and try to hold it down. But I'm just saying, man, these symbols, I don't care about symbolism, dog. That's why I tell folks, you know, when you talk about reparations, don't tell me that you want to put together a program for underprivileged black folks. I'm sorry, that's symbolic. I want a check. I want some with some whole numbers in it, okay? Some big whole numbers. I don't want nothing else from y'all. That's the bottom line. You give me my check, and by the way, if you want me to go back to Africa, give me my damn reparations check, and then I'm going to start me a GoFundMe account so white people can send me back to Ghana.
My buddy Scott just sent me something. I got to read it. Then I got to read these comments. Scott just sent me this. Scott, we played this game when he was growing up, but they didn't know it was a white. They didn't know that white power. He says, play but anywhere. The circle game is initiated when one person makes a circle with their forefingers and thumb, resembling the OK gesture, and it holds it below waist level. If someone else makes eye contact with the circle, then the circler gets to pinch them in the arm. Players especially enjoy the game in inappropriate situations, sometimes setting elaborate or creative traps for their targets. So he said that they played it. It was a drinking game for them.
It was.
Yeah.
For them who?
For him and his buddies.
Oh.
And he's white.
He's white.
So he said, yeah. He said,
Okay.
he
I
didn't know
agree.
it meant white power.
Yeah, but the sign has been co-opted to mean white power. You see it all throughout.
He said he played the game since he was in his 20s.
I'm aware of the game. Trust me, I'm very aware of the game back in the day. I ain't gonna tell you why, but
Oh, D said, right, symbolism. I was happy to have a black president. Should equal employment opportunity at its best. So
it's what?
He said it was equal employment opportunity at its best.
I'm glad she was happy. You can be
why
happy.
You hating, Dave?
You can be happy.
Scott said they punched each other in the arms instead of pinched them. They punched.
Okay, but the point is that sign, if you go out on any of the 8chan or 4chan websites, which are racist websites, they are using that symbol. Even if you remember the young lady who was sitting behind Judge Kavanaugh in the first couple of days of his hearing, remember she was giving that signal.
The white power signal.
Okay? So, and people called her out on that. This is not something I've created. Now, unfortunately, they've stolen a symbol that people have been using all their lives. We used to use, that's the OK signal. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I always
meant.
I never would have got white
But
power.
over the last few years, this symbol has been co-opted as a white power signal. That's all I'm saying. So even though we see and we know where it came from, you have to understand its usage. It's kind of like Hitler's flag. You know that symbol in the Hitler's flag, you know where that symbol really came from? It came from Africa.
Oh, really?
Yes, it did. It was Hitler and the Third Reich who co-opted that symbol to mean something else. Hello? You just learned something today, didn't you?
I did. I tried.
I'm just saying, you know. So, but I'm just saying, I just think, and bringing that subject up is the fact that we as black people better get on the stick, man. We better start paying attention. We're too busy Man, if I see another woman shaking her tail on Facebook, man, come on, sisters. If I see another brother on Facebook talking, we're trying to run game on sisters, don't y'all have something better to do? Your folks dying in the street. Y'all don't care about that. Oh, man, he shouldn't have been out there, man. Really? They laughing all the way to the bank on your asses.
Yeah.
Man.
Honestly,
Come on.
Everybody's laughing at us because we are often taking advantage of.
At what point did you say, hey, I had enough of this?
Yeah.
At what point did you say?
Point, yeah.
At what point do we say collectively as a race, we've had enough of this? We've had enough of killing our own. We've had enough boycotting our own businesses. We've had enough of politicians who claim that they want to support the black community as long as they get the black vote, and then they turn their butts up at us when they get in office. How long? Not long. How long? Not long.
But again,
Lord, how much?
That means that there has to be consequences for betrayal then, and nobody wants to talk about consequences for betrayal.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You gotta have consequences for betrayal.
I agree.
You can't just betray me and everything's cool. And everybody goes, oh, well, okay, well, next time when you come over, we'll talk about it.
Here's a story of a man running over an autistic black man because the black man spoke to his girlfriend.
The what?
Joshua Anderson is accused of beating and then running over 20-year-old Kevin Marshall with his truck following a dispute at Independence Day in Covington, Georgia. In other words, and I ain't gonna read the whole story, I know the story. The boy was 20 years old, he's autistic, they were at an event, he spoke to his white girlfriend, because the perpetrator obviously was white. He decides to jump on the boy, beat him up, and then the boy was walking home, and at 100 miles per hour, he runs over the boy. Witnesses say yes. Witnesses say that the boy's body flipped over the truck 3 or 4 times.
How did he get his car up to 100 miles an hour?
You know, you put it in drive, and then you...
I mean, okay, so I'm trying to figure out what was the... Okay, I mean, I just in my mind, I'm trying to understand what was the boy, what was the truck, and how did he get his truck up to 100 miles an hour? What kind of distance did he have?
It doesn't go into all that scientific data,
because that's
Mr.
crazy.
Webb. But the point is that they finally found, and by the way, Kevin Marshall died on impact. Impact meaning the concrete, okay? And they finally found him. He had ran off, and he was hiding somewhere in New York City. And they found him this weekend, so I wanted to point that out real fast. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, because when I come back, I want to talk about the cargo ship that was found in the projects with cocaine on it. I want to talk about that. Okay.
What?
This giant shipping vessel, this cargo ship.
Was it a ship or was it one of the containers from the ship?
Let me say this again. This giant ship.
Hold on. You telling me a whole ship was in the hood?
It was found in the hood, and it had cocaine on it.
The whole ship?
Let me just say.
The whole ship?
It had. Let me just say this. It had 90 tons.
90 tons of what? Cocaine?
Cocaine. We'll take a break.
What?
That was found in the hood.
The whole ship, Dave.
We'll be back in a moment. That's called the tease. You're listening to Black Focus Radio.
Hey, you know about your mind.
Our issues, our solutions, our voices on joynetradio.com.
Not the whole day. Oh, shit.
What's crazy, because I agree with your statement on Obama. How Obama was symbolism because he gave people hope, you know? Parents give parents hope for their kids, you know? Kids, good students, you know, they work hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready from
I get hope every time I go take a crap. I hope everything comes out all right.
Many Virgins and Resurrection, a talented bunch of seasoned veterans, have been doing this a little while now, but have just released for your enjoyment their new single, Save Me Jesus. Save Me Jesus. Save me, Jesus. Virgins and Resurrection. This new project is available on all digital outlets. Get yours now and catch up to what everybody's been talking about. Minister Lee Burgess and Resurrection. Call now, 803-847-6227. That's 803-847-6227. And enjoy Minister Lee Burgess and Resurrection. Hey, lock this number in. 501-406-7134. That's 501-406-7134. That will get you some fabulous chicken wings delivered right to your door. I'm talking Great American chicken wings with all of the flavors, like spicy Cajun, honey hot, garlic hot, atomic hot, ranch hot, hot buffalo, chipotle, chili, all American, spicy lemon pepper, just rich. Oh, you want me to keep going? Yeah, country fried, mild, barbecue.
I'm gonna let y'all hear this so y'all get a good laugh.
Hi, I'm attorney Theo Johnson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matters. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney.
Monday, July 9, 2018 is currently 14:33 hours.
Remember the guy I told you about the city? This is his statement. This is Ernie Mox, one of the managers.
Street Station Division. Being interviewed is Mr. Ernest Moix, or Ernie Moix. He's a white male with a date of birth of 10/27/1954. Mr. Moix, I requested that you bring me the check and the paperwork from incident regarding some equipment that belonged to the city. Could you explain to me how you got this check and the receipts?
Yes, sir. I was off 4th of July, which was Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday I took some paid time off. So when I came into the shop this morning, Marilyn and Danny were there, and Marilyn handed me this Adopt a Park receipt and a check from Danny for the Adopt a Park for $1,700, and said that she lost it in her drawer and she was cleaning out her desk and throwing away papers and stuff, and she found it, and so she wanted me to deposit it. And
What account would you deposit that into?
the Adopt a Park account.
Okay. Danny is Danny Sanford,
Yes, sir.
and Marilyn
Marilyn Mason.
is Marilyn Mason. Okay. About what time do you think it was when you received all this?
I got there about 10 to 7, so it was probably maybe 7:15 by the time I got around to talking to him about it.
Who all have you spoke to about this?
Today I've spoken, and really this is the first day I've found out pretty much. I knew a detective last week was investigating something, and I thought it actually might
What is that from?
The thing I was telling you about.
Oh, okay.
They said none of this shit
I
existed.
found out really what
Detective
Smith.
All right, welcome back to the show, Black Focus Radio, the second hour of the show. A lot of stuff to talk about, still to go here. We were kind of listening to a little recoding earlier, but I want to stick to this story real fast. Just a couple others before I get to this cocaine story. And I did,
Yeah, you want to do that.
and I did misquote the number, but the number won't make a difference.
It wasn't 90 tons.
It wasn't. It was 17 and a half tons. But
What's the difference? You're still talking
well,
over
exactly.
$100 million.
exactly. By the way, woman opened fire at DMV because line was moving too slowly.
She did what now?
She was upset. A woman was taken. This was in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
A woman was taken into custody after shots were fired outside a Missouri Department of Motor Vehicles office on Tuesday. Kansas City Police and Platte County Sheriff's deputy were called at 11:20 a.m. Some witnesses told authorities that Vanessa Ritchie complained about the wait. It was very crowded. Minutes later, Hustler and his 12-year-old son got to the DMV, frustrated over the lines turned in fear of the shooting. She was cussing and upset with the staff there.
What's her name?
Her name is what was her name? I just read her name. Well, her name is Vanessa Ritchie.
Vanessa Ritchie.
Okay, you know what the next question is, right?
No what?
Take a guess.
Oh, what color is she? Stop, man. Will you stop that?
Did they take her alive?
Dave, we already know that they're alive, they're white, and if they're not, they're black. We already know that.
Okay, I just like to point.
And there are some times we've been surprised though.
Yeah,
There've been a couple times we were surprised.
like Christmas.
Man, will you stop?
I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies here for my white brothers and sisters out there who seem to. I don't see color. They're just doing their job. They want to go home just like anyone else.
You're not gonna stop.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Okay. By the way, off-duty officer guns down black man after children playing with fireworks startled his dog.
That's a bad white dude.
He was a bad one. Was he a bad one?
He was a bad white dude.
Yeah. You know, by the way, not only did he shoot the man, the black man, before the black man came out to protect his woman, because his woman was outside with their two kids, firing off these fireworks, and their little dog, the white folks' dog, apparently got scared. So you know what the white man did, the murderer did?
What?
He headbutted the woman, the mother of the children.
Again,
The father comes out, sees his blood spewing from his wife's head, goes to defend his wife. He shoots and kills the father.
That's usually how it works.
Okay. Y'all keep living in that post-racial society. I just bought me another pistol.
Yeah, a lot of people buy guns.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I read an article the other day that saying gun ownership by black people is up under the Trump administration. Look, I'm telling you, folks, y'all want to change the gun laws? Everybody go out and buy an AK-47.
Stop, man.
Go.
Jesus.
Y'all want to change the gun laws? Go out. Don't be mad. Don't go down to school board talking about guns in school. All you got to do is black folks go out and buy an AK-47, and they'll change the gun laws overnight.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I changed my view on guns in schools. I decided I think they should have guns in school. So I decided I'm going to give every kid in my neighborhood a gun to take to school. Because if they're going to have teachers going to have guns, I think it's only fair that students have guns.
There you go.
So yeah, I changed my mind. Yeah, let's put them guns up in them schools. Let's do that.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm down with that.
makes
Ryan, what kind of gun you want? What you want, a rifle? You want a Glock? What you want, Ryan?
He really thinking about it too.
He thinking about it. You should. What kind of gun you want? I'm gonna get you gonna take school. What kind of gun you want?
I want a 9.
A 9?
Actually, no, I want a shotgun.
You want a shotgun?
Yeah, you know, it's
I
got
bet.
that spread pattern. You can get about 5 or 6 folks at one time with that one. And boom!
Let me get you a shotgun.
Get him a double
See,
barrel
shotgun?
too. Have you seen like those double barrel shotgun pistols?
No, I haven't seen those.
Oh man, they're like fire.
Really?
Woo!
What kind of who make them?
I think I don't forgot who made. I saw a picture of one. It's a double barrel shotgun pistol. It's about that long.
Right now, I'm a vanilla head.
You know.
I love vanilla shotgun. Man, it's not like the size. It's not like, you know what? I love shooting guns. It's not like the smell of shooting a gun. That smell, oh my God, I love it. Especially when you shoot a rifle.
It's like napalm in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Nothing like shooting a gun. I love that smell, man. Especially when it's cold outside. You shoot a squirrel or a deer, whatever you're shooting at.
Yeah.
And you get that smell of the aroma in your nose. Oh my God.
I'm like that when I shoot my AK-47 to take out a couple of deers.
so sarcastic. Stop.
Yeah.
If you shoot a deer with AK-47, you ain't got nothing left.
No, I'm just saying. They usually run in packs. So I just get all of them. I got a little Bambi like in the eye one day. I'll pull a little Bambi.
You are sick, man.
I'm just saying.
Why are you? You are sick.
I'm just saying. Oh, by the way, after 34 years of injustice, the family of Timothy Coggins will finally get a chance to see his killers get what they deserve.
34 years later? What they gonna get?
34 years.
What they gonna go to court?
Okay.
They going to court. That's what they gonna get. They get this to go to court.
We'll see. You know, Coggins was 23 when he was killed after he was seen leaving a bar with fill in the blank a white woman. Okay? On October 7th,
You know how many police
1983.
that they was doing that to our brothers that was going out with white women? Okay, so that would be just terrible.
Stop!
That would just be terrible, man.
Oh,
You
okay.
had nobody. There would be
God.
there wouldn't be a lot of black men in America.
Well,
Some of our best basketball, football
yeah,
players,
oh man,
comedians,
yeah.
movie actors.
You ain't
they
lying.
around.
You know, thank God for Denzel.
Really, Jesus.
But Coggins was stabbed multiple times in the neck, stomach, and back. He was eventually tied to a pickup truck with a chain around his leg and dragged. Coggins' lifeless body was severely damaged when he was found. For decades, the murder remained unsolved. Okay?
Like a James Bird, right?
Right. Even with people in the small town pointing to Frank Gabbert and several people close to him as the killers. Now, there's a reason why I'm reading this story, okay? I'll get to here in a moment. There are witnesses who have told authorities that they saw Goggins get in a car with Gabbert before he was killed. And there are also witnesses who came forward to reveal that Gabbert bragged about killing Coggins before he was and said he was a black N-word. Okay.
Okay.
Lack of evidence, the murder weapon and chain were never found, and racist political climate in Griffin allowed the killers to remain free. The story also lacked prominent media coverage, as the local newspaper failed to give it significant coverage. However, the case was reopened in 2017 after new information surfaced. Several witnesses came forward, and all Gabbert, Bill Moore, Gregory Huffman, Sandra Bunn, and Larry Bunn were arrested for the murder of Coggins. Huffman and Lamar Bunn were employed as law enforcement officers at the time of their arrest.
Not surprising. I told you that's not surprising.
Huffman, a detention officer, was employed with the Spalding County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, this is not surprising at all.
I just needed to read that story because, again, how many are good? How many are here's what we need.
I don't know about you, but I know some good white guys.
I'm talking about police now. Okay.
Oh, police?
I know some good ones. I know some good
white police
my
officers.
co-host in Nashville, Greg Pogue, very dear friend of mine. Our children grew up together. Good brother. I said brother, and he's white.
I know some good white police officers. Yeah. I also know some terrible black police officers. I know some terrible white police officers.
Can you be a good white police officer and you know that your fellow police officers are breaking the law, and you do nothing about it?
You know what? Now that's a tough one right there. But what I will say is this is where I am when it comes to police.
Okay, you didn't ask the question, sir.
Because I can't.
Okay.
But I'm going to say this.
Aren't you sworn to uphold the law?
They are.
Okay. But so if someone is breaking the law,
if you don't mind, I think I'm going to answer your question indirectly, if you don't mind.
Okay, you're going to give me a political answer?
No, it's not going to be political at all.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you a good, solid answer. Right?
Okay. All right.
I think it is hypocritical of police.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are very hypocritical.
Mm-hmm. Even the good ones?
All of them.
Okay. So they can't be good then.
Hold on. Because if you're sworn to uphold the law, even when your guys break the law, you have to still uphold the law.
I agree.
Unfortunately, that doesn't happen in police departments. Then you come into the black community and say, y'all don't want us to help y'all. Well, not really, because we can't trust y'all. We can't trust y'all to do right by us when somebody in your group does wrong by us. How can we help you to do right by us now? Right? So that conversation needs to be had. And more importantly, if police want us to trust them, then that's a two-way street. Do right by us when somebody in your uniform does wrong by us. But again, I mean, you got police officers who break the law. I answered it already.
So can you have good police officers if they know that their fellow officers are breaking the law?
No.
Okay. Why don't you take me all around by Sally?
Well, I had to make that point.
I didn't need to go by Sally.
See,
want some money.
See, this is what I'm talking about right here. See what I'm talking about, right? Hey,
I'm just saying, you know.
still, I answered the question, dude.
I'm just saying. I mean, he took me all around by Sally's house.
I gave you what
You
you
know,
want.
had to
I gave
wave
you
at
what
little
you want.
Pookie, and
gave you
had a duck down when Yo Dog was looking because I owe him $20 and he trying to kill me and everything.
Sweet mother of Mary Margaret.
Yeah.
I gave you what you wanted, Playboy.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, I know some police officers and I think
that they suck, right?
I know some that suck.
Yeah.
And I know some that are what I think are very good. But I have to wonder, you know, when you see improprieties and you know that your guy is...
Oh, you asked me, can you have good officers if they're bad officers on the force? Thanks for that, Ryan. That's
Okay.
what you asked me, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you can have good officers if there's bad officers on the force. Yeah, you can have them. Yeah.
Okay.
You can. I said no, but yeah, you can have good officers if there are bad officers on the force.
Okay.
That's like saying, can you have good black people if they're bad black people?
How many good officers do you think there are on the force?
Again, here you go ask me for percentages. How many? That's what they asked me earlier. How many good white people do I know?
Okay.
How many white people are good and how many are bad? How am I going to do
When
that?
was the last time you heard of an officer turning in another officer?
Serpico?
Exactly. It's funny you said that because that was going to be my punchline. Exactly. And you know when that came out? That was 1974.
No, honestly, I read an article. I'm trying to remember what. I think it was in the Syracuse Times, Syracuse Post. I can't remember now. But yeah, there was a guy a couple of years ago in Syracuse who actually, I can't remember his name now. I should because he did a great thing.
He was black, wasn't he?
No, he was white.
Okay, I thought I know of another case
Yeah.
where a black guy did.
Yeah, this guy they
Got all kinds of death threats.
Yeah, he did, even from the police department, and he eventually had to resign because nobody would show up on his calls and that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Why you think that is? Were those good cops that wouldn't show up or bad cops that wouldn't show up for his call?
those were all the bad cops worked on the same shift that he worked on. He was actually the only good one on that shift.
Oh, so you don't think that the good cop that was assigning the people would have assigned some good cops on this ship?
Well, maybe,
so
maybe,
he could.
maybe on that shift, the guy who did the assigning was a bad cop too.
Oh, so
we
you
have to
mean
work- we have to operate?
So
under
you mean that
premise.
his supervisor didn't see
His
that
supervisor was not a good cop, so we have to operate under that premise.
And what about his supervisor?
His supervisor must not be a good cop either.
And then
We
his
have to
chief
operate.
of police.
No. And let me tell you something that was interesting about the article. Yeah. I want to say the guy's name was George, but that wasn't it. But what was interesting about the article is that the police officer said, doing that has consequences. And I was thinking, what you mean? Upholding the law has consequences? I thought that's strong. Not being supportive of officers has consequences. So if you break the law and you stop, man. If you break the law and you're an officer, you're not supposed to be supportive. You're not supposed to cross the blue line. You stick with the law all the way to the end. So how can police officers enforce the law when they get in trouble? Then they then break the law to protect one of their own. So, like I said before, man, I have changed the way I see things because what happened at the city changed my view on how I help people and who I help. Because at one point I was told that you don't support people who have gotten in trouble for things that they've done, things that are self-inflicted or whatever the case may be. But after the whole thing with Kerry and Marcus and Michael at the city, I don't care anymore, especially with Marcus, how you had city employees who went back to cover up a crime. They went back to cover up a crime. So how can I not be supportive of somebody who does something, even if it was self-inflicted? Because the messages are constantly being sent that, hey, I should do these things, right? I should be supportive of these people. I should be supportive of all people, right? Well, then you start breaking it down. Well, you can't be supportive.
Are they white?
You can't be supportive of them. They're too.
Are they white, the people you got to be supportive of?
Yeah, I mean, you should be supportive of all people. I'm supportive of anybody who's being mistreated.
I'm sorry, I ain't carrying nobody's water but black folks.
No. When it comes to city stuff, if you get if there's an issue at the city, I don't care what color you are. I've had white people and black people. I don't really care, right?
Oh, I help different people, but I ain't carrying. I ain't going out of my way to help nobody but black folks. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
Just gangster. You're unapologetic, and that's a good point. You should be. You're unapologetic. But the thing is that we're learning lessons about how to operate in this current structure.
That's my point.
Right? But unfortunately, most of us are not implementing those strategies that they're teaching us.
So I want to talk. So I want to get to where I'm trying to go with this because
I know. Come on.
Because I want to talk about this cocaine that was found on the ship.
Okay.
Because you made a point, and I know you inadvertently made it, but it kind of brought me back to where we're headed. Is that you're going to help people who you said who have self-inflicted mistakes.
Yeah.
I call them what do they call them? Turnovers. I call them unearned errors.
Unearned errors.
That's what I call it. I had an unearned error when I wrecked my car, and it's going to cost me $1,000.
Right.
That's an unforced error. What I mean.
Right. Unforced.
Okay. People have those unforced errors, and where I'm fortunate enough where I can recover from that unforced error, it's going to hurt a little bit,
Yeah.
but a lot of people in our communities are not that fortunate.
I agree.
And I'm not just talking about money-wise, I'm talking about how their lives are.
I totally agree.
And part of that reasoning is because society has set them up that makes them, although you may think it's an unforced error, but because of how society treats them and view them, it is actually a forced error on the part of society.
Yeah, that's why I agree.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. That's why I disagree with Rizal earlier when he was saying you got to hold parents more accountable. Okay, I'm down with holding parents more accountable, but how exactly does that look? And what happens to the kid in the meantime, right? So we always talk about felons, and we always talk about these. We always have these conversations about everybody, but we have them present tense. Right? We're having this conversation in the present. We're not talking about what did we do to ensure that this kid was okay when he was a kid. What did we do collectively as a community? What did we do? Because somewhere that kid went wrong. You're not going to tell me that guy grew up to be a prisoner. That guy grew up to be a murderer. That guy grew up to be a drug dealer. He grew up to be a burglar. You're not going to tell me that.
You're not going to tell me that.
That was not his destiny.
No.
Somewhere along the way, he was lost. And unfortunately, there was no safety net to catch him. That falls back on us as a society, a complete society, right?
You're talking about a forced error.
I'm talking about
forced errors.
That is a unforced error.
Well, it's unforced on his part.
Let me tell you why.
It's unforced on his part, but it's forced by the community as a whole. Because like you said, see, my argument has been for a long time. Look, I'm all for these recidivism courses where you keep people from going back to prison. But every time but wait a minute, listen to me. But every time I go to one of those, I always, and I don't go to them anymore, but I always make the statement, why aren't y'all doing stuff to keep them getting there in the first place?
No.
You see what I'm saying?
No,
look, I'm not trying to be cold-blooded.
It's
look,
business.
I'm glad y'all getting out. I'm glad people are doing things to get you out of prison. But my thing is, I want to go to little Johnny, who Jimwanta Kanjufu says in the 4th grade, that's where they begin to fall off. I want to meet him there.
No.
I want to meet him there so that I can keep him from getting in the system. You see what I'm saying?
I think that's a great idea, Dave. But unfortunately,
I got my blood pressure up again.
The reason we aren't there, and I don't think we'll ever get there, is because you got to understand that 4th, 5th grade reading scores, that's how we determine jail bed space.
I agree.
Right? So if we determine that we're going to need jail beds, if we determine we're going to need 1.2 million jail beds, and 1.2 million additional jail beds in if 4th grade you're 8, we're going to need them in probably 8 more years. In 8 years, we're going to need that many jail beds because that's what we're predicting. These guys are going to end up between 8 and 12 years, between 8 and 10 years. They're going to end up in prison.
Right.
Well, if we know that already, let's take the money we're going to spend on the jail beds. Let's get them some reading. Let's get them some training. Let's put them in some kind of program now that we can offset that later.
I agree.
But the problem is The problem is that most of us want to talk about the now. We want to talk about what's happening right now in the present. Oh my God, they're horrible men. But we never talked about when they were kids. They weren't horrible kids. How did we get there? And nobody ever wants to have a conversation, because if they do want to have it, they want to go back to parenting. Because that's the easy thing, right? Because if you talk about parents, you ain't really got to talk about nothing else. You just say, well, the parents ain't doing anything. We got to hold them accountable. Okay, but the kid still dies, right? So if you know that a kid is going to die because their parents are horrible, or the kid is going to have a terrible life because their parents are horrible, then if you still want to talk about their parents, you're still sentencing that kid to death. It doesn't change. Yeah. It doesn't change, right?
That's my point. So
if we're not going to talk about how we address the issue with the kid, I ain't talking about parents. If people want to talk about parents, that's cool with me. I think it's a sometimes, depending on the conversation, I think it's a decent argument. But for me, it's an excuse. I believe that we still have to find a way to help the kid. I mean, so every kid who has bad parenting, he's doomed to die. Is that what we're saying? He's doomed to a miserable life? That's terrible. I don't think that's fair. But it's just my 2 cents.
I totally agree with you. And I'm bringing this up because we're talking about forced and unforced errors, and I truly believe that many of the errors that are going on in our community is forced error. Look, you all know I talk about white supremacy all the time. We don't have to get into what you all's president is doing. By the way, the video of the young lady that he allegedly kissed that was underage is about to be released. Okay, so we don't even have to talk about that. Let's talk about the head of the Senate. His step-parents own a shipping company. One of the ships is called the Ping May. Okay, it was boarded by the Colombian Coast Guard a couple of years ago. This article was released October 2015, and apparently 40 kilograms of cocaine, about 90 pounds,
40 keys. Okay.
was found on this ship. Now, Mitch McConnell's wife.
That's not a lot. 40 keys.
That's not a lot. But again, if you found with 40 keys, how much time you getting, dog?
With 40 keys. So if I got 40 keys, it depends on when they catch me. If I got 40 keys and I've been able to bring in 40 keys in about 10 years, I ain't getting no time. But if that's my first shipment, I'm probably going to spend my rest of my life in prison.
Now, you just made an interesting point, because that means that if you've been doing it for 10 years, that means that you got a whole lot of folks in your pocket.
I got everybody in New York.
Exactly.
I got everybody in New York.
Exactly.
All I'm doing is making phone calls.
Therein lies the problem. Remember, I started this off by saying ships were found with cocaine on them in the projects. Now, obviously, I was being facetious, because there are no boat docks or shipping containers in the projects. But this is Mitch McConnell's wife's father's company. Y'all know that, right? This is his father's company, his father-in-law's company, that was found with 40 kilograms of cocaine on it, and this was laughed off like it wasn't a big deal. In fact, no one even brings it up. No one even brought it up to him. Okay? No one even brings it up right now. Again, how many 40 kilogram shipments got through? Because most of the time, if these ships are bringing this money in, they're getting a cut. So, again, that's the problem. But the bigger story, when you talk about forced errors, is this story. Takedown at Philly port was the largest cocaine seizure in U.S. Customs history. Not in Philadelphia history. In U.S. Customs history. That means they found a historic 17.5 tons of cocaine this week.
How much?
17, not 90 kilograms, 17.5 tons.
Do what?
That's 8 cars.
17.5 tons of cocaine? Oh my God.
And that ship was seized in the projects.
Okay, Dave, wait, man. I think you messing with me. Okay, so let's talk about proximity. What city are we talking about?
This is Philadelphia.
Okay. Been to Philadelphia. I went there. We went there for the Democratic Convention back in 2016.
Interesting city.
Been there. Very nice city. Very nice city.
Last time I went, I got picked up by a made man,
Made man, what is that?
a gangster.
Oh, you got picked up by a made man?
Yeah, they were running the limousine service.
Oh, okay. So he was,
And-
why was he driving the limousine?
He was he was a driver.
Oh, okay.
And he basically told me. And as he took me to my destination, he was pointing out specific,
So he's pointing out his hit spots.
he was pointing out specific gang
Oh,
haunts.
okay.
Like,
So
you
don't
see
go
it,
there?
right, or he was showing me how they park. You see how that car, and we got to a stop sign. This car was like parked in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
He said, you see how that police just rolled by? Didn't even stop to give him a ticket? He said, because the police know he's a made man. It was mind-boggling. Needless to say, I was scared.
I bet.
You know how you kind of hit the lock on the back
And
in the
you didn't like
limousine?
in the back, yeah.
It didn't unlock.
It didn't like
But
it.
I made it. But anyway,
So-
go ahead. But anyway.
So let's talk proximity. So we're talking about Philadelphia. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Remind me of the largest body of water around Philly.
Well, it's the Atlantic Ocean.
Atlantic Ocean
Yeah.
is Pennsylvania. Yeah. Okay.
This is a major
Okay.
shipping port.
So let's talk about how far the hood is from the water. How far is that, Dave?
Shoot, it could be anywhere in Philly.
Yeah,
But-
because I'm trying to remember. I don't think we went. We went when it was cold as hell. So we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't do it. No, we didn't. It was kind of hot. It was hot when we went, but we still didn't get out and move around like that. We didn't go near.
Y'all stayed downtown.
Yeah, we stayed mostly.
You can
downtown.
stay downtown Philly and you never see the ocean.
Yeah. So more than likely, the hood is downtown also, because usually the hood is around.
It was around
downtown.
Temple and things of that
Yeah.
nature.
So if that's the case, that's inland. That's a long ways inland. How the hell the boat get in that far? What they do? Pick it up with a crane, drive across town. You mean ain't nobody say, what the hell y'all taking? Where y'all taking that boat to? How you get a boat to the hood, Dave?
Well,
With 17 tons of cocaine on it.
I don't know.
You
but-
finna get everybody in the hood high.
Exactly. By the way, it was worth $1 billion.
I knew it was enough money.
It was worth
No,
$1
I
billion.
said 100.
You know who owned this boat, by the way?
Who's that?
J.P. Morgan Chase.
Really? Oh man, that's what's up.
You get this, right?
Yeah, I get it. Definitely.
Now, you could argue.
I ain't gonna argue. I already
Wait a
know.
minute, wait a
JP
minute,
Morgan said, you know what?
Wait a minute,
Our
wait a
profits
minute,
ain't been good.
Yeah,
Our profits
yeah.
ain't been good. So let's do this. Let's put this dope on the street. And let's hook it up.
Now, you could argue.
I have always believed, and I'm sorry to say this, I have always believed that certain companies have used drugs as a way to, pad their profits.
Okay.
I've always believed that.
So let me ask you a question. Okay. All of this money that is being generated by drugs, how does it get out the country?
It doesn't.
Oh, yeah, it does. Quite a bit of it does.
People say that, but you gotta remember how money is filtered back into a system. You got money that's filtered back in the system.
Okay, let me.
So just like they changed the laws at casinos, you couldn't, like if you spend $10,000 in a day, you got to give me a name and you got
Yeah.
to give me a driver's license, all that kind of stuff, right? So money's filtered back into the system. Now, this is the thing, though, right? So if you happen to be a J.P. Morgan Chase, then guess what? You can hide trillions of dollars.
Okay, you just answered my question.
Yeah, because all you got to do is that when the money
So-
truck roll up.
So while you were trying to make up these excuses about the money being filtered back into the system,
No, but that,
I was
but
trying
that
to
does,
get you
but
to.
that filters it back into the system.
But actually, what it's called is launders it back into the system.
No, Jay.
It looks
Laun-
like clean money.
That's
Okay.
the point. But see, I'm saying something different than launder. I'm saying filter. And the reason I say filter is
Filtering, laundering is
I
the
wanna-
same
I
thing.
want to make sure I make this point clear.
If it's illegal money,
Yeah, but let's make the point clear. Though. You ready? Let's make the point clear.
Okay.
Let's make the point really clear because I want to be succinct as I get this
Okay.
out. Right. Okay. So think about all the illegal enterprises we have in this country. Right. To have an illegal enterprise, it has to be funded by something.
right?
Right.
So, do you think it would be funded by other illegal people?
No, it's funded by legal people. Legal
Okay.
people fund
Okay.
illegal enterprises.
Okay.
Now,
You're on the same
now,
path.
but the point is that how do you filter that money? Because I'm not saying launder. I get what you're saying. You're saying launder. How do you filter that money back in to whatever, right? So I say you just look around. You look around whatever city you live in. There's different ways you filter money back in. You filter money back in through construction. You filter money back in through what else? Construction, selling of cars. I mean, it's a ton of ways.
Any business.
Any business,
nail
yeah.
salon.
Well, not any business. You have to. You couldn't do it through a nail salon. The amount would be too small. No. But you could do it definitely through a club. You could run huge amounts of money through a club. Yeah. You can run huge amounts of money through things that take in a lot of cash, right? So you can run huge amounts of money.
JP Morgan Chase?
Well, JP Morgan Chase is a perfect example. They could run huge amounts of money because, hey, listen, these guys can say, you know what, we're taking $12 billion to the, we're taking $12 billion to the Fed today, right? we got too much money in our vault.
Right.
So we're taking 12 trillion of it, to 12 billion of it out today. We're going to send it. But they wouldn't do it all at once. They probably take, 100 million this week, 50 million one week, they split it up. But it's ways to move the money around. And that's been done in America.
That's called laundering.
I know it's called laundering, but I like to use the word filter.
Okay.
Filter just seems more appropriate for our conversation.
Well, I like laundering because it sounds dirty, and I want to make sure that white people know that what you're doing is dirty.
Jeez.
Okay. Because, see, I'm tired of all these people, and here's my point.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ship is not in the projects, okay? All right. The point being is that this is a forced error on communities of color across this country. Because here is a company. Now, they're going to argue, oh, well, we didn't know. How the hell you don't know you got 17 and a half tons of cocaine on your ship? How is it you don't know that? Okay? And the question is, how many times have you brought 17 and a half tons of cocaine to America before you got caught? Because you understand that when they catch these people, that's only a minuscule amount compared to all of it that gets by them. Because they can't stop every ship.
Yeah, I read a really good article. It talked about they were saying for every true drug bust that you hear about, there are 50 that you never hear about.
Exactly.
So that's a good point.
And
I believe every so often people just say, hey, listen, we gotta give up some stuff
just to make people feel like we doing something.
Like police are doing something.
Exactly.
They're not doing their job. But I'm gonna tell you something. This is what I truly believe this. If there's a satellite up there that can tell me how to get to Taco Bell from wherever the hell I am, if there's a satellite that can do that, that's a satellite that can stop drugs. But there's too much money being made off of drugs. Drugs will never die.
And that's my point.
The opioid epidemic will never go away.
Because
too many people making money from it.
I was watching this although it's fiction, I think it's called Yankee. Okay. And I've only watched bits and pieces of it. But it's about the drug cartel, and they are now, and I found it interesting. And I watched, for the first time yesterday afternoon, I watched two series, back to back. One of the things that jumped out to me was the fact that they said, hey, they were trying to negotiate changing the drug market. And the guy who was trying to do the negotiation was telling them that, hey, the marijuana trade is dead. And he went down the list of all the states in America who has legalized marijuana, just legal. Then he went down the list of all the states. It was 31 states total that either is legal, has legalized, or has some form of medical marijuana. Right. He says that's dead.
Yeah, it's a dead game.
Okay, we're not in that business anymore. We want to move into highly sophisticated fentanyl-laced cocaine.
Design drugs. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we know for a fact that those drugs have already hit the streets of America. We've seen cases of it.
Far more addictive than just...
Far more addictive and deadly. Yeah. My point in bringing up, and although that was just a television show, my point in bringing up quite often what we see today in some of those stories are happening every day in our lives. And what frustrates me about this more and more and more is the fact that there are no airports in the hood. There are no ship docks in the hood. No. If there's an interstate in the hood, it was put there because you were trying to destroy the hood. All of these drugs are being pushed into our neighborhoods by power brokers, and those power brokers are white. Okay, J.P. Morgan Chase. I would argue that if you took a poll of their employees, I would argue that less than 2% are black. Okay,
Probably.
would you agree with that?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay, so my point being is that here we have a major company in America who clearly has his hands dirty, because you were talking about laundering money earlier. That money gets out of the United States just by what you said, by putting it in a certain business, putting it in a nail. What is it? Clause. I haven't seen it, but I've seen clearly what that television show is clearly about is drug dealing and laundering money. The same thing was about what was the black show that everybody liked on Stars? Power. That was the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Laundering money. And
Next
infecting,
level laundering.
right, infecting our community. And I found it fascinating. And look, I watched Power, but I watched Power for its absurdities. But I found it fascinating how people talked about how much they loved Power and how, ooh, he bad. Look what he gonna do now. And look what he gonna do this. And until we understand that all of that illegal activity of drugs, gangs, and violence, drugs is what creates the gangs and violence in our communities. That's where it's coming from. Yet we have not figured it out now. It goes back to that question. What the hell is wrong with us? When are we going to figure this out? I saw where the Crips and Bloods apparently have come and had some type of truce. Really? Well, I guess they didn't get that in Chicago. I mean, come on.
Dave.
I posted a picture. I'm sorry, because I posted this.
Get it out, Dave.
Because I posted a picture this morning, and I hope it's still on my wall. And I posted a picture of I guess I didn't post it. Dang it. It was a waiting room. And I know this, and I know they did something like this here in Little Rock, but the coroner in Memphis at one point had a program called War on the Bluff that I worked with. And his job was to go out and talk to young people about what happens when your body is traumatized by a bullet. Okay? And I posted a picture, and he said, and I'm trying to remember what it said. It says, there are only 3 yards. It's your yard, the graveyard, and there was another yard. And there was a picture of how this young brother had died in this emergency room, and it was prior to them cleaning it up. It was blood everywhere. It was bloody bandages everywhere. It was a wreck. If you've never seen what happens in a trauma center, it is horrific. I worked in the emergency room at Baptist in Memphis. It's horrific what happens. We are not getting this. We're not understanding that when, I posted something last week. I said, teach your son not to kill my son, because I've already taught my son not to kill your son. You see, we're not getting this. They don't have to do anything to us, because we're doing it to ourselves. At some point, we've got to say, hey, whoa, wait a minute, can we get a 20 here? At some point, we got to say, hey, I'm going to spend my money with a black business.
I'm not disagreeing with you on any of this.
We just have to do this. It's no more saying the white man got his foot on my neck.
Yeah,
we
I
know.
disagree with
Look,
that, yeah.
I know the white man has his foot on my neck. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to try to get his damn foot off my neck.
I agree with you on that. But I think it's important that you understand that this is like anything else. This is like anything else.
See, every time you come in here, I get upset.
Right.
I'm never this way when you're not
You just
here.
told me he would really be upset.
Well, most of the drugs that come here to America are from Mexico.
Yep.
And those people that come from Mexico, they're funded by the Mexican cartel
Yep.
and other illegal organizations in
How
Mexico.
do you know so much about drugs, my son?
Well,
Really? When you start reading drug articles?
well,
He wants to be in politics.
I want to stop organized crime, so you gotta learn this.
You want to stop organized crime?
Yeah.
You're like 40 years, you're like 100 years almost too late, bro.
Well, I mean, you can't stop it.
Don't be raining on his parade.
raining on him.
You are. You ought to be
I'm
saying, as his father, you ought to say, that is admirable. It's going to be tough, but I support you.
Hey,
That's what you ought to be saying.
Ron's going to be super successful, but also want Ron to be super realistic. I mean, what kind of organized crime are you talking about? You're talking about like...
Well, of course you can't eliminate all, like 100% of organized crime.
Because you know politics is organized crime.
Exactly.
You do realize that, right?
I'm thinking when you say organized crime, I of course think, mafia.
Yeah.
I think Al Capone.
Hey, you come to see my people.
Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about something different?
Well, all organized crime.
All organized crime?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so give me some ideas of what organized crime are. I didn't, Dave, are you familiar with organized crime?
Yeah, politicians.
Besides politicians, I mean.
No,
We got more organized crime?
the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. That's unorganized crime.
There is. It's organized crime in this country still. Like you have, let's see. Ooh. So actually, you still have the mafia. You still have the mafia. It's not as big as it used to be. You still have the mafia around. And other stuff like that around in our country. You have people that come from different places, like Italy and Mexico. They come to infiltrate our country with crime.
Right.
They work with other legal organizations.
Okay.
So, I watched a video about it. People would come. They used to go to San Francisco, New York, those bigger cities, to do that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all just taught me something. All right, organized crime. Good luck. Rudolph Giuliani.
So why are you raining on his parade?
I'm not raining on his parade.
That is just so mean.
How am I raining on his parade? Do you think I'm raining on your parade?
You got to be saying,
I'm his biggest cheerleader. Well, I'm his second biggest. I think his mom is probably, a bigger cheerleader than I am. But I'm his second biggest, so. Well, I'll take that back.
No,
I'm probably the third or fourth biggest, because, you got his mom and his grandma. You know how women are. And his auntie. So I'm probably fifth.
I can't
With
believe
his aunties, I'm probably like.
Are you saying that something's wrong with them women because they're that way?
No, but women are far more supportive of sons than fathers are.
I would disagree with that.
Well, to some degree, I know you would.
That's a stereotype.
But I know my mother is a huge fan of Ryan.
Well, that's her grandson.
Jesus.
That's a grandson. That's a legacy.
Next subject.
My mom is pretty proud of my son.
I don't want to talk about Ryan anymore.
Okay, let's not talk about it.
Let's talk about Ryan. He's looking a big head over here.
It's already swelling. Just turn sideways when you walk out the door.
Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, he's getting it.
By the way, we were talking about that okay gesture. Apparently, Representative Duncan Hunter feels like it's a pretty bad thing, too.
Who's Duncan Hunter?
He's from California. He actually took a picture with the white supremacists, and the white supremacists gave the okay gesture, the white supremacist sign. He quickly deleted it. And by the way,
deleted the picture.
He posted it to his own Twitter page. The representative did.
Really?
Yeah.
He's in politics. Of course he's going to delete it.
Yeah.
I want to get votes. He must have some likes in his
apparently, yeah, right. Not in his district. He's up in rich part of California.
You got a couple of rich folks in Silicon Valley.
Not enough.
But you got enough liberal folks, because this is what I love.
They're running all them out of there.
Nobody. So I had a conversation last night on Facebook, and I got to tell this real quick before we get out of here. So a friend of mine on Facebook posted something about jails, and I just made a simple post to say, there's nothing humane about locking people in cages like animals, right? Mm-hmm. And I was hoping that would spark some conversation. But what
on
it did,
Facebook?
yeah. But
was it like positive conversation?
It did though. I met a great friend named Scott. Me and Scott talked earlier today. Good guy. Got a lot in common, but
is he white?
Yeah, he's white. But had we not had that conversation on Facebook, never would have known that though, right?
Right.
But that's the thing. You can interact with people on Facebook, and you can actually. I talked to him today, and I learned some stuff from him. And hopefully he learned some stuff from me, or I should say learn, but he appreciates some stuff I said. I appreciate some stuff he said. But the good thing about that was we had an exchange that wasn't strained. You with me? Mm. The exchange wasn't strained. It wasn't one of those strained. This thing was good.
So if you don't think that we should put people in jail, then what do we do with criminals? If we don't put them in jail, what else do we do with them?
Okay, so can I ask you a better question?
Of course.
How do we make criminals?
How do you make them?
How do we make them? Exactly. When you figure that out, we'll figure out where we're going to put them. But my point
That is a dumb question.
No, it's not.
It is.
How's it dumb?
Are you saying?
How do we make criminals?
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. So this is what I'm saying. So are y'all saying right now that people are born to be criminals?
No.
And if that's what y'all saying, then okay, cool. Let's just build a bunch of jails and be done with it. As a matter of fact, let's just have a whole state of jails. Let's just have one state just call it jail state. And just every kid that's born, we just pick him and go, you know what? He looks like he's gonna end up in jail. Let's send him to jail state. Because essentially, that's what you're saying right now when you say, why do we not put people? Because I'm asking you, how do we create criminals? Because they're not born that way.
Should we have locked up Charles Manson?
I don't know. Because I don't know his story.
Charles Manson, by the way,
I know what Charles Manson did. I'm not talking
about what he did.
I'm talking about we don't know his story. We don't know his story.
I do because I read Helter Skelter and it talked a lot about his early life.
So tell me about his early life.
Charles Manson was a very intelligent young man. So was Jeffrey Dahmer.
But what happened though? What happened?
So was Jeffrey
What happened?
Dahmer.
Was he molested? Was he abused? What happened? What changed?
But what I'm saying is, so was Jeffrey Dahmer. Unfortunately, see, Robert, you live in this Pollyannish world.
Pollyannish?
That we can save everybody. We can't.
Everybody ain't worth saving? Hold on 1 minute.
Hell no,
How y'all
everybody
gonna
ain't worth
God
saving.
and say everybody ain't worth saving? Because God told y'all to say everybody. Take your ass out there and say everybody. Don't come back till you save all of them.
It's funny you bring that up because my quote of the day when we were going to leave the show.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and read it right now. Okay. How can a slave and a master both serve the same God? Then both of them expect their prayers to be answered by that very same God.
Man, that's deep, man. That's deep.
How is that possible?
That's deep.
So
That's deep. But my question to you is, yes, do I believe everybody can be saved? I want to save everybody. Yeah, you
no,
gotta save
everybody can't be saved.
But this is the thing. This is the thing, Dave.
Robert,
This is the thing, Dave.
everybody can't be saved.
You try to save everybody. If you can't save them all, that's cool.
so
But you
the
try.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I have another question.
Oh, shit.
So you say
you turn around, Mike. Go ahead.
so you say it's possible to save all people.
I'm not saying it's possible. I'm saying we should make an effort to save everybody. We should make an effort to save everybody.
Okay, let's say we're living in Pollyanna Roberts' world.
That's not Pollyannish, man.
Okay, just listen. We're living in your world now.
Go ahead.
So you just said we can't save everybody, right?
No, I said I want to save everybody.
Okay, you want to save everybody, but that means that obviously you can't, right?
For different reasons, yeah. I
Right,
agree with
but
that.
whatever
You
the
can't save
reason,
everybody.
whatever the reason.
But you gotta try to save
Okay,
everybody.
okay. I'm in your world.
Okay.
I'm just passing through, but I'm in your world.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
The ones that you can't save,
Okay.
like the Jeffrey Dahmers and the Charles Starkses and those types of people.
You're so ignorant. What? The Jeffrey Dahmers, the Charles Starkson.
What I do? What I say? What do you do with them?
Oh God.
What do you do with them?
I believe you guys. Honestly, I believe you gotta try to save everybody, and I really believe.
Okay.
I honestly
Okay, we
believe.
passed that
But hold
part.
on. I honestly believe that what impacts you as a child, also to some degree, will really direct your course as an adult.
I totally agree with that.
Right.
Children live what they learn. I totally agree.
Well, not only that though, experiences make you who you are. Right?
I totally agree with that.
Experiences, circumstances, environmental, the whole nine,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, if we are not doing a better job of creating safe spaces for kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then we're gonna have criminals. If we don't have better schools, we're gonna have criminals.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
I agree with all that.
there are some social ills that we have to address, and that will lessen the likelihood of having so much criminality.
Okay, I'm getting on my plane, flying back to Pollyanna Roberts world. Okay,
No.
So
78% of all crimes are crimes
I
committed
understand all that.
for money. They're necessity crimes.
I agree with
a
all
guy's
that.
committing a crime because he needs something to
So-
eat, and he got to figure out a way.
Okay,
To
so
get
let's say that we feed all that 7-8%.
I'm not talking about feeding them.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, the ones that are out here wreaking havoc, just to wreak havoc, what we do
How
with
do you
them?
know? How do you know who those are though? How do you identify the ones who are just wreaking havoc just for the hell of it?
So let's say they wreak havoc the first time, we give them a pass, they keep doing it again. What we do with them?
If we don't do anything to adequately rehabilitate them, then they're going to continue the same behavior. They're gonna continue the same behavior.
So let's say remember that I'm about land in your world now.
But hold on, Dave.
So let's say we
Dave,
do all of that.
If you buy a car,
Okay.
if you buy a car and you never put gas in it and you just keep driving, it's gonna run out of gas, right? And then somebody says, "Well, Dave, you know why your car quit?" You go, "No, why? You don't have gas." Oh, okay.
So then
you
that
go
person
put gas in it,
right?
And then Dave, you drive your car again and you run out of
Right.
gas again, and somebody
Right.
goes, "Dave, you still ain't getting it. If you don't put gas in your car, it's gonna stop on you." And you go, "Oh yeah." Well, Dave, that's the same thing. Unfortunately, what happens is nobody's ever rehabilitated the people who go to prison. So if I don't know any more than I knew before I went to prison, it's a likelihood I'm going to repeat the same behavior I did before I went to prison.
I
Because I haven't
understand all
learned
that.
anything different.
I understand
So
all that.
If we're not trying to do these things in prison, if we're not trying to rehabilitate people in prison, how can we expect them to come out here and do something different? Just because I lock your ass up in a cage ain't gonna change who you are.
I totally agree with all that.
I'm either gonna make
But
you
again,
less.
But again,
Okay.
if we do all of those things, still, that's not going to solve the problem with most people or all of those.
How
people.
can you say that?
Okay.
But how can you
so
say
you're
that?
saying that if we do
How can
everything
you
you
say that
just
beyond a
suggested,
doubt? So-
that we're not gonna need
Because
any
Dave,
prisons in
Dave, based on that premise, Dave, you're saying that people are just born bad. That's what you're saying,
Okay.
Dave.
Let me ask you. Let me answer that question like this.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna answer it like this. Was there an invasion of Africa? Was there a slave trade? Was there rape and pillage of black people? I've got another story that I didn't cover where it clearly states that black people were killed to take their land. Are those people good or bad?
Guess what that was,
Okay.
Dave? That's a necessity crime.
Okay, necessity crime.
It's a
But
necessity
it's a
crime.
necessity crime to you, but it's bad to the people who were victimized.
Exactly.
So my
them white
point
folks get your
being,
land, so they
right?
killed you.
So my point being is that yes, there are certain people in this world
Okay.
who are intrinsically bad.
Dave,
Okay.
I just refuse to believe that.
Okay.
Because what you're saying, Dave.
Okay,
Dave.
it's your world.
I refuse to believe
Robert's
that.
world.
This is why. Dave.
Robert's world.
No, this is
Robert's
why.
world.
No.
Robert's world.
Hell with you. I refuse to believe that. This is why I refuse to believe that.
Okay.
Because people say.
Y'all get that? White's world. Y'all
Yeah,
get that?
whatever.
Y'all got
people
that, right?
say that black people.
Okay.
People say that black people.
Did you get that? You got it. You got it right.
People have said that black people have some kind of gene that makes them bad.
No, that's
there's
white people.
There's an evil gene.
No,
in
that's
black
white people.
And so black people are just born bad.
That's white people.
So what you're trying to say is that a baby
do you
who
judge-
knows
you-
nothing about the world,
You judge a man's by his history.
a baby who knows nothing about the world.
So let's.
Are you gonna let me finish?
They
I'll let you
invade-
finish,
Oh, I'm
Dave.
sorry.
A baby who knows nothing about the world.
You know why they say that though, right? That's called transference.
You know what Dave's trying to do?
They-
Thank you for making this point.
No,
He
no,
knows-
no.
He knows what he's saying.
No,
He don't
I
know
need you to.
come out.
I'm gonna let you
He
make
wants
it.
me
But
to just go
it's
ahead
called
and
transference.
defer. He
Okay,
wants
go
me to
ahead.
and defer.
Okay, go ahead. Say.
No,
Oh,
Dave,
go ahead.
you can't tell me that a
just
baby
tell me
that
that.
knows nothing about the world, a baby who knows nothing about the world, is bad from birth. You can't tell me that. I refuse to believe that.
Some of them are.
Name me one that you know that was. When you saw them, you said, "That's a badass baby right there." Name me one. You are You and Ryan, man. I'm gonna let y'all do the show tomorrow. 'Cause y'all
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. You know. But I was just saying that. You know, for them to try to say that we were bad.
Yeah.
That's almost.
They did that a lot.
That's transference.
It is. They did that a
You
lot.
know, you are actually the person that you are referring to, but you're transferring that negative energy towards people that are not.
But just let you know that you're a terrible person.
I'm proud of it.
You're a terrible person.
I'm a black man. I carry the weight. I carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I proudly
Terrible,
carry it.
man. All right, brother.
No.
Much
Good
love,
show.
dog.
Had a good
Yeah,
time.
you
Ryan,
hard.
good job as always. You know, keep Daddy in check, man. Don't let him run off the road. You know what I'm
Tough,
saying?
man. It's tough.
You know, you're a good young man. You know, we will look. I'm expecting to hear from you. Okay, I'm expecting you to join forces with my son and tear the roof off the mother sucker. Yeah, tear the roof off the sucker. Tell them to. All right, we got to get out of here. I'm waiting on you.
Of course you are.
I'm gonna read my quote again.
Spend money in your own neighborhood if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
How can a slave and master both serve the same God? Then both of them expect their prayers to be answered by that very same God. How is that possible?
Damn, that's deep, man.
You know what I wrote about it? I said, this is deep, and I know some of y'all aren't ready. Y'all have a
Nope.
good day.
A lot of
Woo!
y'all ain't ready.
Good show, bro. Good show. Y'all have a great day. Hey, and Latanya, you need to take that thing. You need to change your picture. You look like you're an alien or something.
What did Tanya
I told you she took her daughter. She took her daughter to I think Cozumel, and they walked on the ocean floor. And they put these, they have these now, these hoods you can put over your head with this bubble where you don't have to put on air lungs.
Oh, okay.
The air is contained in the hood, in the bubble. And she made a picture of herself, and she just looks like an alien. That's all. So I mess with her, so you can't really see it there, but
Try to get to your page.
let me do this. But she does a great job in taking her kids. You can see it.